The ayahuasca ceremony for me is the most beautiful experience I've ever had.
And things became lighter, and things became beautiful, and I started ascending.
I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't process thought. I couldn't do anything except fear and darkness, and it was the most terrifying moment of my life.
Deep in the heart of the Amazon, out of generations of indigenous people, from mysterious origins, birthed from a specific combination of plants, comes a visionary experience, an ancient healing tradition, modern controversy, and massive interest from younger generations, all surrounding a sacred brew called ayahuasca, a beverage that contains DMT. DMT is a tryptamine that even our brain produces, but the chacruna leaves contains much more. Left alone, this molecule will be metabolized before having any effect, so the sacred vine is added to protect its entry through the body, into the brain, and into our experience. From scientists to shamans, many theories abound regarding the strange effects of ayahuasca, and yet it still is not fully understood.
So ayahuasca is, it's a whole bunch of things, but you know, on the nuts and bolts level, it's a beverage. It's made from 2 plants, at least, one of which contains dimethyltryptamine. At the cultural level, it's much broader than that. These are essentially shamanic practices, and ayahuasca is at the center of that kind of traditional medicine, you know, which is really a mind-body kind of medicine.
This mind-body medicine has been used for so long in a region devoid of literature that the true beginnings of ayahuasca are left to oral traditions and myth. There are only a few cultural artifacts that have survived this hot and wet climate before being completely decomposed and recycled back into nature. And the mystery of how the indigenous discovered these 2 ingredients among countless other species has baffled the world.
Why do these few plants, out of 500,000 in the world, have these unearthly effects on the mind and sometimes on the body that they think can transport him to outer realms of space? And they believe that in these plants there is a resident spirit.
Ayahuasca was the only psychedelic session where I had a sense of a personal therapist, kind of like a spiritual guide of some sort, which I didn't see, but it was a very clear sense of energetic presence and telepathic communication, as guiding me in a very specific way through my sessions, looking what I should look at, what I should work on. And if I didn't do it, it sort of returned and was sort of putting some pressure on me to do it. You know, had an intention for me, what I should do, what I should become in that session.
The indigenous of the Amazon refer to it as Mother Ayahuasca, known by some to be the divine feminine principle and the first woman of creation. The ayahuasqueros or healers say it is her that we commune with for guidance before, during, and after drinking ayahuasca. It is she that allows us access to all that we've forgotten in this life and all others. However, in the initial ceremonies where people are introduced to this resident spirit, it can be painful and quite confrontational because so much of our trauma is unknown to us, and therefore we rarely acknowledge our baggage as a part of us.
There are lots and lots of different kinds of shamans in Peru. The word shaman doesn't really mean very much. I think the best thing that we can maybe say it means is a kind of spiritual worker, or a person that practices a certain kind of natural medicine, but with a spiritual foundation or a spiritual basis. So here you find shamans that are usually named after the kinds of medicinal plants they specialize in. So in this case, Alberto is considered to be an ayahuasquero, shaman who specializes in ayahuasca, palero, shaman who specializes in the medicinal trees, and also sananguero, shaman who specializes in sanango. So an ayahuasquero is going to typically make their plant, or their group of ayahuasca with 4 plants. The plants that they'll usually use, the vine of ayahuasca, they'll use the leaves of the chacruna tree, which provide vision. They're going to use mapacho, jungle tobacco. That's called nicotina rustica. It's different than the tobacco that's in American cigarettes or pipe tobacco. And possibly the leaves of toé, which is a kind of brugmansia similar to datura. They're going to utilize the barks of the tree as part of their ayahuasca preparation. Now the rationale behind that is that they will bring and merge the spirit of the trees into the ayahuasca.
Okay, everyone move out of the way. Keep your distance.
It is not to provide visionary properties to the ayahuasca in terms of a biochemical reaction, but rather a spiritual merging of the medicinal tree spirits that are held within the bark into the actual ayahuasca. So that when the liquid ayahuasca you have it will contain not only the ayahuasca medicine spirits, it will also contain the tree medicine spirits as well. And that liquid ayahuasca that you drink will be liquid spirit. So all of the green vines that are growing up on these trees are all ayahuasca. What's important is that these are the 2 kinds of ayahuasca that create energetic ascension, which is what allows for personal transformation, personal growth, learning, and or healing. Ayahuasca is not a drug. Participating in ayahuasca ceremonies positively transforms a person mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. The changes are real and permanent.
Until very recently, ayahuasca was an entirely unknown area to mainstream Western medicine and Western science. So I think amongst those who know about ayahuasca, there is a growing interest and growing appreciation that there is an untapped potential for fascinating study. On the other hand, I'd have to say that most practitioners of mainstream Western medicine are entirely ignorant of that such a phenomena as ayahuasca even exists.
The chemical components of ayahuasca are designed to affect you only enough so that you can be freed from your egoic consciousness and move into a visionary state that allows you direct experience of the presence of spirit and spirits, not the chemical components being misconstrued as medicine.
La gente vienen confundido de sus países, creen que es la droga, no es una planta medicinal que Dios ha puesto en la tierra.
You cannot take ayahuasca by yourself and have it be medicine.
You'll never be able to package the ayahuasca experience into a pill, hand it to a patient, and tell them to take it and then come back with the report.
You have to have the plants, the spirits of the plants, and the master shaman who manages the interaction between you and those spirits.
The ayahuasca experience is really grounded in the context in which it is occurring. And almost always ayahuasca experiences are taken in a group context, which is facilitated by someone with great expertise and a high level of training in regards to administering ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca is incredibly powerful. It is not for everybody. But for the people that it helps deeply and directly. It is incredibly beautiful, but it requires serious practice and serious training.
Everyone's experiences are different in personal ways. Not everyone experiences pain. Some are left in ecstasy, but no 2 ceremonies are identical. Some describe the evolution of ceremonies as the medicine speaking a story of our blind spots and ailments. Although traditionally the main purpose of ayahuasca has been for healing, it's typically the visionary quality that initially attracts newcomers. They come with curiosity, expectation, ambition, and a drive to become enlightened, a mystic, a spiritual savant. But if you listen to those who have spent many years with the medicine, or even just a few weeks in a traditional setting, you'll learn that the path to heaven often comes through the belly of a personal hell. The wake-up call happens when those who want to merge with pure divinity are faced with their fears of death. In ayahuasca culture, facing mortality is a prerequisite to evolving on the path of spirituality. And even though these difficult encounters are well known, there are still thousands of people journeying to the Amazon with the desire to peek behind the veil, to receive the overflowing gifts of life, and uncover these painful yet fruitful mysteries of death.
It's a really extreme form of anxiety, and causing things like just shaking and trembling voice and the inability to articulate communication that I know is within me and I know is there. But there's these blockages that don't want it. It's like these parts of myself that don't want to go because they've been there for so long, and they come from traumas and memories and repeating things that happened in years past, and just focusing on failures and focusing on moments of discomfort and negativity. I'm just tired of it. I'm just really, really tired of it. I want to grow. I want to be pure in everything that I am. I want to be able to express my place in divine creation. And that's why I'm here. That's what I'm doing here.
Chuya, 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 cuerpocito con ayari, sin ninguna aflicciones con.
Ayahuasca ceremonies take place in the dark because light is afflicting to the eyes. It is traditional to drink ayahuasca at night. It is considered a time of spirit. It's the time when spirits walk, and it's what allows greater vision and concentration of those spirits. There are a variety of elements present in an ayahuasca ceremony. There's the liquid ayahuasca that's actually drunk in the ceremony, the presence of the shamans, the icaros, which is a sacred system of communication between the spirits and the shamans, shacapas, which are the leaf rattles and instruments that are played during the ayahuasca ceremony, mariacion, which is the total visionary effects of the ayahuasca, the visions themselves. There's the purge, which is the release of any kind of energy during the ayahuasca ceremony, which could be either physical or spiritual in nature. And finally, the resolution of the ceremony. This is an evolutionary process where every element of the experience is necessary to create transformation. Well, at the beginning of the week at any ceremonies, as we're moving into the first ceremony and the second ceremony, especially the first ceremony, there's usually a tremendous amount of collective anxiety. There's a lot of fear that's going on. People are scared. They're not sure what to expect. It's going to be a new experience, an experience that they never really had before. They're wondering what's going to happen, what they're going to see. A lot of the preparation that goes into preparing someone is, in a sense, getting them ready to be able to handle, or tools to be able to handle, worst-case scenarios. The ayahuasca ceremony for me is the most beautiful experience I've ever had. The ayahuasca ceremony is something that is so sacred, it is birthed from pure love from the insides of our hearts. We give our entire lives to it. We call to all the spirits of light, to the four winds, the north, south, east, and west. Salud.
Salud.
Salud. Salud.
The first ceremony took me to a place where I thought I could never ever drink ayahuasca again. It was just far, far too intense.
The first hour in ceremony, nothing was really happening, but I knew something was coming, and the energy was just like building and building, and my heart was just pounding like crazy, and I was just like, just bring it now, like I can't take it anymore, you know?
As soon as it started coming on, I got a little bit nervous, like, uh-oh, what's this going to be like? And instantly broke out in a sweat.
You know, it's hard because it brings you face to face with your deepest fears, all your sadness, all your anger, all your fears.
Get it out. If you can't release it, look within yourself to find what is still holding on to it.
You have to face them, and you have to, you have to get rid of them. You have to overcome them, purge them from your body.
And so we're working with the energetic pattern of it. We're seeing it. We're seeing it coalesce. We're seeing it come out of somebody's body. We're seeing the essence of its energy without it being a physical object. Okay? And we're dispelling that energy before it ever even manifests. So the energies are being purged. We're seeing them come out of the person, and we're releasing them. So as that energy is starting to come down, the spirits tell us when we've done, in a sense, enough work for that night. Then we're going to hold the space, generally until midnight or a little bit after midnight, until it is clear and that the spirits have given the okay, the go-ahead, that everybody is in a protected space to be able to continue on with the rest of their ceremony, however long that may take. As the ceremony is coming to an end, it's a period of time of levity. It's a period of time of joy. It's a period of time to be able to release, the tension that had been built up through going through something that could have been chaotic or difficult or just intense.
A lot of laughing, a lot of screaming, in a good way, though.
It's a period of time that, we tell different kinds of jokes, we're laughing, we're having fun. So the end of the ceremony is a time of levity. The end of the ceremony is a time of fun.
I'm so happy.
It's a period of time when once the lights come on where the seriousness of the ceremony has been dispelled.
Hey, what shall we talk about next?
And it's a period of time to experience some humor. It's a period of time to experience relief.
You want an experience? Love yourself. You want to transform? Love yourself. You want to heal? Love yourself. Do it because you can. Not for any other reason. The moment you love yourself, the moment you will be healed.
I've always been afraid. I've always felt weak and afraid of confrontation, afraid of other people, afraid that people were going to be upset with me. And as a result, I've avoided a lot of direct interaction with a lot of people. I felt like something is holding me and crushing me and holding me back, and something inside.
I'm here to heal a skin disease that I've got, eczema. A few years ago, I was covered from head to toe in eczema. My skin was bright red, it was falling off. I was in complete agony day and night, I could barely move. I spent all day in bed pretty much, and the doctors couldn't do anything for me. None of the medication would work.
You ready, buddy?
Yeah, I'm ready. I tried all sorts of alternative treatments, nothing would work, and ayahuasca was very much a last resort. I pretty much reached the point where I couldn't go on, I couldn't live anymore. With that sort of pain, I'd just had enough of life. And it was just complete desperation that brought me here. Salud.
We think about everything. It is only in your thoughts that you find right and wrong. It is only in your thoughts that you find good and bad. It is only in your thoughts that you experience duality. The problems are in your mind. Everything is in your mind. Open the mind so that motion can change the way you think, so you may have a new experience of yourself and the world in which you live.